award-winning political cartoonist, and freelance comedy writer. Yes, John Lyons lives in a cellar with a couple of plants and whatever it is that's whispering in the walls. But he leaves that all tonight to perform for you. Planeteers, welcome John Lyons.
Oh, Ghost Planet, how you doing? Good to see you. All right, proof, that's an important concept. Really, I think in a lot of ways it means you're showing that you're worthy of membership in some group or worthy of doing something, which is why I've taken up the banjo, because I really want an excuse to put the word ramblin' in front of my name. Before we go on, though, I have a bit of a serious message for all of you. My name is John Lyons, and if you are watching this comedy set right now, it means I am dead. I have a joke about millions of dollars that I'd like to tell you, but in order to hear it, you have to spend a night listening to jokes about a haunted mansion. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Get out. Was it Lyons' catchphrase in Seinfeld? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not dead. I can't prove it, but I am a comedian. That I can prove. Here is a joke that I'm still working on. It's not finished yet, but I'll just tell you what I have so far. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
All right. This is all I got so far. What's the difference between a cat? Speaking of cats, though, I recently started working on this sitcom about famous quantum physicist Erwin Schrodinger, where every episode he accidentally schedules dates with two girls at the same time. Hijinks ensue, but only when nobody's watching it. So, a lot of people say, you don't know how you'd behave in a really intense situation. You can't prove that either. But they say you don't know if it ever came down to the wire or whatever. But I like to think, if I were ever in any kind of hostage or ransom situation or anything like that, I like to think that I would be the cool gunman who's really chill about letting people go to the bathroom. Hey, yeah, just take a buddy. Yeah, no escaping now. We asked the cops for pizza. And a helicopter. You want a helicopter ride? It's gonna be dope, yeah. Alright. Is anybody else kind of disappointed that in the ruins of Pompeii, they didn't find two mummified kids in the middle of playing The Floor is Lava? Oh, somebody went, was that too soon? Yeah. Alright. Hopefully this isn't too soon. You know what? I really hate Halley's Comet. Because, even though it didn't kill the dinosaurs, it just stood by and let it happen.
Oh my gosh.
Does anybody else wonder, though, I've always wondered this. Do all of the other cyborgs think that Inspector Gadget is just like a huge Uncle Tom? It's gotta be. People are really standing up to racism now, and people are really raising consciousness about that, and I think that's really important, especially given you-know-what from a few weeks ago. But I think that's great, and I'm sure we can all agree that racism is dumb. But I want to know, who was the asshole who started that? Who was the first guy who was like, well, I've heard of black metal and black forest ham, but a black guy? That's too much for me. Tell King Leopold he can get his diamonds somewhere else. So, something else about that. Like people talk about culture and race kind of interchangeably a lot. And it goes into some jokes, and I got one for you like that. So you ever notice how white people are all like, hello? And silver people are always floating and crying those singing worms? I want to know what's up with that. So, okay. I gotta say, dating is hard. You're contractually obligated as a comedian to say that dating is hard, or else the chip they put in your neck will explode. But no, it kind of is, and I just want to know, like, is it too much to ask to meet a woman who is fun, is smart, and cute, and not just the woman-shaped lure on the end of the tongue of a giant carnivorous sewer monster? So I've been working on some pickup lines too. You want to hear one?
Yes.
All right. Girl, are you an angel? Because you've got like a whole bunch of wings and eyes, and I can't look directly at you or I'll die. So another thing people are kind of raising consciousness about, I think is important, is catcalling. People are saying that's not cool anymore, and that's good. But you got all these assholes now who are saying like, what? I can't even talk to women I don't know anymore on the street, can't even introduce myself? No, there are lots of things that you can yell at strange women on the street. Like, hey, look out! Or like, you didn't see nothing. And they're like, help! It's like nothing brings people together like taking somebody to the burn ward. So I got a lot of friends who are trying to quit smoking now, and they say it's really, really hard. And I say, like, if you want to know what's hard, try giving up a hostage. Another level. So, I want to know why it's okay when the moon does it, but if I hit your eye like a big pizza pie, that's assault. Or the money shot. Yeah. So, I live alone. I think it's pretty great. Like you were saying earlier, I got this little basement apartment full of spiders and centipedes, so I guess not technically alone. But I used to think that the best part of living alone was that I could just walk around with my dick hanging out. But I think it's time to grow up and admit that I don't know whose dick that is. So does anybody else like to play porn in reverse?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like people are deciding to just be friends, right? So, I got another bit of a serious question for you. Like, I was not raised Christian or anything like that. I grew up in a secular household, so I don't really know these things. But so, can anybody tell me the name of that version of the Bible where, when you open it up, there's just a rectangle cut out containing a pistol? All right, that's good. I need to know by Monday. The note taped to it says, "You know what needs to be done." I don't. Still working on that one. So, anyway, I've been thinking about getting a dog, and I decided to get an Labradoodle, the most complicated dog of all. You know that song, "Who Let the Dogs Out"? That old song? Yeah, you know, I bet all of the dogs from that song are dead now. You know what they say about dogs? Give a dog a bone and you feed him for a day. But teach a dog to knick-knack, paddywhack. I don't have to tell you how the rest of that goes. But it got me thinking about phrases. You know, the original phrase, I think it's really strange. And, you know, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, but give a fish a man and Poseidon will smile upon your voyages before you until he is ready for another sacrifice. Got me thinking about other sayings too and other concepts like that, you know, like the infinite monkeys and the infinite typewriters. It turns out if you have an infinite number of monkeys and an infinite number of typewriters, eventually an infinite number of hipsters will walk in and try to buy the typewriters. What I'm saying is I bought a typewriter. Do you guys like impressions?
Yes.
Be yourself. Alright, I got a couple for you. Hang on. I'm getting too old for this shape. That's a preschooler who's totally mastered triangles. Here's another one. Let the bodies stay up on the couch for a little bit. That was the band Drowning Pool after having just mopped. Where's my social security check? And that was a really shitty kamikaze pilot. So, you guys like nature?
Yeah.
You know, Planet Earth reboot is coming up. And I have learned some facts about nature I'd like to share with you. And I can't prove any of these, and you'll just have to trust me. Every toad has the date of its own death written on it in Braille. If you pull off a lizard's tail, it belongs to you now, and you can do whatever you want with it. An albatross can fly 5,000 kilometers, that's 3,107 miles, before it remembers it left the front door open. It's a common misconception that female lions kill most of the prey, but in reality, they simply switch off the prey with a little button on the side. The sea sponge might look like a plant, but it's actually very active on several libertarian message boards. Many people believe that the abhorrent practice of seal clubbing is to preserve the integrity of the skin for garment making, but in actuality, it's because baby seals are full of candy. The platypus and the echidna are the only egg-laying mammals besides Millicent Gazurski, the incredible chicken woman of New Brunswick. It is a myth that lemmings jump off cliffs en masse. In reality, lemmings are much more likely to self-harm by overdose or carbon monoxide poisoning. Termites are one of the few insect species capable of developing wicked abs. Parrots are extremely long-lived, despite the best efforts of our brave men and women in the ongoing cracker wars. Along with crocodiles, turtles, and coelacanths, horseshoe crabs are living fossils, which is a term for any species that thinks all new music sucks. Wolves and bears cannot smell fear, in fact. Oh, they can only smell wistful melancholy and homesickness for a place that never was. And, finally, the real fact. I won't tell anybody if you want to fuck that emu.
Thank you.
So, I will end on this note. I'm at the age now where a lot of my friends are having kids and things like that, and that's not really my speed, because I'm bad at being a human. But I've decided to get some mileage out of both that and all my studies in existentialist philosophy by writing some children's books, such as The Cat in the Void. One fish, two fish, red fish, are the colors you see really the same as the colors I see? Which one of us is truly mad lives? Thus spake Mother Goostra. Don't let the pigeon learn the truth. And, finally, wise Waldo. Well, thank you very much. I'm John Lyons.